Hey guys, there for Jiganomics Outdoors here. I'm on a family trip in Orlando, so I decided to stop by Bass Pro Shop, see what they got, do a little video. So stay tuned and we should have some fun. Thing I always love to see at Bass Pro Shops are the fish tanks. That way you can see the fish in their natural habitat. So you got this branch here that's submerged. You got, look where the bass are. Look very good. Bass at the bottom. You got rock ledges over there, guys. So the bass are sitting right under the rock ledge over there. Bass sitting down there. And you got bass submerged. As always, you have the catfish down in the bottom. Bass coming up here. But when you look for the crappie, where are they sitting at? Crappie sitting right there in the tree, submerged. It's funny because I'm going to find the picture from when I was here last year, and that crappie sitting in the almost exact same spot. So when you guys are out there jigging and brush piles and sunken timber, and you wonder how those crappie are sitting, there you go. So I'm gonna go through here and show you guys if I was to recommend someone who's just starting off jigging, what I would recommend. So now we're getting to my section of the store. I like bass stuff, I like saltwater stuff, but I want to shop with the rods about this long here. As far as poles, you know, there's a lot of good pole companies out there. You have B&M, you have HH Rod and Reels, you have Jenko Fishing, you have ACC Crappie Sticks, you have, goodness gracious, you have tons. Ozark, I can go on for days. But just my personal favorite, B&M jig poles, the Bucks Graphite jig pole. I probably own more of these types of rods than I do of any other rod. So if I was just starting off, you can't go wrong with the Bucks Graphite jig pole. I believe just by holding it, this is the 10 foot, I believe. Yeah, that's a 10 footer. This is a very good all-purpose rod. You see the tip down here has a lot of action on it, and that orange tip allows you to see that very sensitive bite that crappies give off sometimes. So as far as being them poles, you have the Bucks Graphite, you have the Sharpshooter, which is like their shorter pole. So this is really good if you're dock shooting, if you're fishing on the boat but you're fishing close in. This is a good size rod to get. Then you also have the very, very popular Sam Heaton Super Sensitive. This pole is light as a feather. This pole, I don't believe this one has it, but it comes in a bottom seat as well, and it also comes with the touch system. A lot of B&M's poles come with, either that mid seat, I want to call it, or the rear seat like this one is. So, and this one actually has that touch system on there as well. A lot of guys ask me about how you use the touch system. Me personally, if I have my rod sitting back here, I'll pull some line off while I'm jigging. I'll hold it in between my finger and the touch system here, because that graphite is the same graphite that runs up through this pole. So I'll hold it there, I'll jig it, not that hard, but I'll jig it like this, and when you get that bump, you'll see your tip go as well, but you'll feel it down here. So That definitely helps out a lot. As far as minnow fishing, the size hooks I normally go with are the size 4 hooks, Albertine hooks. Um, I usually have more success, I should say, with gold. They do make these Albertine hooks in red and also black. But normally I go with the number 4 size. Once again, when I refer to stuff that I use down here, it's normally going to be for us down here in Florida. I know out of state, of course, you guys have white crappie. You guys are going to need to use those bigger hooks. So probably you guys can go number 2 hooks, number 1 hooks. But down here, normally number 4 gets the job done for us down here. They have fluorocarbon, mono, and they have braid. So me personally, since I've been fishing, I've always used mono. I normally go about 4 pounds on some of my poles, depending on what type of rig I'm using, or I'll go 6 pounds. My dad is a firm believer in using 6 or sometimes even 8-pound test line. My dad is old school. My dad does not like using, his drag. He wants to set the hook on those crappie and bring them out. Down here in Florida, that works out for us because we don't get many 3-pound crappie down here. So, 1.5 pound, 2-pound crappie on 6-pound test line, that'll work out. But a lot of my guys out of state, you guys use the spider wire, you guys use the Fireline, Suffix, Power Pro, all that stuff. So. As far as split shots, I like number 7 size split shots only because they're heavy enough to keep my minnow down where I want it, but they're still light enough that it won't drag it down, it won't kill it. The minnow can still swim freely somewhat, but this is the number 1 weight that I use, number 7. Now, here's where how I personally fish differs from a lot of people. I don't get too caught up in the brand of jig head that I'm using personally. As long as it has a good paint, good even distributed weight, I don't mind using it. Now, depending on what type of fishing I'm doing, if I'm fishing, in the weeds, heavy timber, I'll normally go with like a 1/16. 1/16 on a number 2 or number 4 hook. If the bite is a little bit more sensitive or they're nibbling at it, I'll downsize to like, let's see here, I'm looking for a 1/32, so I'll downsize to a 1/32. Once again, no particular brand. I've had success on many different brands. So as long as it's a good quality jig head, nice sharp hook, good paint, I'm fine with using it. One thing that I like about Bass Pro Shop in Orlando is they have a very large selection of crappie jigs. So they have, Crappie Max, the whole line of Bass Pro Shop jigs. You come around here, they have, Mr. Crappie. They have Bass Pro Shop jigs with the underspin on it. They have Roadrunner. They have Bass Pro Shop's version of the Marabou jigs. Of course, they have Barbie Garland, Lake Fort, Crappie Magnet. So you have a big variety of different types of jigs. You have Creature Baits by Barbie Garland, the Power Drivers. You have the Crappie Shooters, which are made for dog shooting, but I have a lot of success with this type of jig with vertical jigging. And you have the traditional Baby Shad, You have the slab slayers at 3 inch. My top favorite jigs from Barbie Garland: Blue Thunder, Monkey Milk. If I'm having a bad day, I can usually depend on either Blue Thunder or Monkey Milk to put some fish in the boat, or on the bank, or have real fishing that day. So, as far as scents, out of the scents that I have tried, I normally have the most success with the Procure. We've been using this for a number of years. It comes out, it's more of like a gel than like a liquid. You just put a little bit on either our jig, or we'll put some like on the edge of the boat. And every time we come out, we catch the fish, we'll dip it in there, and this helps out a lot.